The Black Ops 6 beta is here, meaning there's a ton of new settings you need to change if you're gonna get some wins. Not to mention the optimization of betas really aren't that great, so I went ahead and put together the most important settings for you to change to get the most performance out of your system. Before diving into things, I did want to tell you about the sponsor of today's video, FPS Hub. I'm sure you've seen streamers who have incredible audio, hundreds of frames per second, and zero stutters while they're playing. This is all thanks to having their PCs optimized for peak performance. And FPS Hub is the best in the business for all of that. If you're on PC, you've likely already spent tons of money on your setup, but what's the point if you're not getting the most out of your system? FPS Hub covers everything from overclocking to internet issues and even custom audio tunes. I personally recently had my PC optimized by them and gained tons of frames and have had less issues than I've had in years. So if you want to get ahead of the competition leading into Black Ops 6, make sure to follow the link in the description or go to fpshub.org and use code Expel at checkout. Now let's dive into the settings. The first thing I want to discuss is going to be your controller settings. So off rip, let's talk about sensitivity. When you're diving into this match, the first thing you want to do is tune your sensitivity. However, knowing that most maps are not going to be super vertical, I would recommend setting your vertical sensitivity 1 to 2 lower than whatever your horizontal is, because you don't want to be looking up and down super crazy whenever you're playing. The next thing is actually the new settings, which is the simplified controls and the low motor strain and stuff like that. These are a little bit weird. Basically, if you were to go through and read what it says right beside my camera right here, it's talking about how you don't have to press buttons. It'll help you naturally. It's their AI or whatever. If you are trying to be good at the game, do not use this. Plain and simple, this is for people that usually have like some kind of motor skill issue. I don't recommend it unless you're very lazy or very, very high. That's the only 2 times that you should be using it. So simplified controls and low motor strain, keep those 2 things off. The next thing on this page I would recommend going ahead and setting up is your dead zone inputs. Basically, that means if you have your player just randomly looking around when you're not touching your analog stick or randomly moving, that's because you have something called stick drift. So if you have stick drift, what you want to do is test your stick zone. And you can see I can move these around right under my camera here, and they wiggle around just fine, and then they just snap right back to the center. However, if I turn off the test and I move both of these back down to 0 and I turn it back on, sometimes you'll see them just jitter just a little bit. And that right there is stick drift. So I actually have it. And what I'll end up doing is I'll change my left stick to 4 or however much it is for you until it disappears. And then my right stick, I'm also going to set to 4 because they're about the same. And then when I cut it back on, it's completely fine. The other thing I would change under your dead zone input is your left stick max. Since your left analog stick is how you actually like move around and stuff, you want to get to that 100% sprinting speed as fast as possible. And the way that you're going to do that is by setting this max to 70. So instead of having it, which I think it defaults to like 99, you want to just bring that down to 70. So if you look at this outer ring here, you can see that it brings it down to where if I test my dead zone, that is my max. And it's actually just super easy to get there by only hitting 70%. Because when I hit 100, I'm even going past that max. So it's just very, very fast to get you to full sprint. Under your advanced aiming settings, which can be found by going to aiming and advanced aiming settings, the next thing I would go ahead and change is your custom sensitivity per zoom. And the reason why is because a lot of people feel like if they just have everything set to 1, it's good to just quickly snap to enemies. But what ends up happening is that aim assist works a little bit better whenever you're slower on that target. So what I like to do is set my low zoom sensitivity, which means if I'm using something like a red dot sight, to 0.75. The same goes for 2 to 3 times zoom. And then once we get to those higher zooms, when you're super zoomed in on the enemy, you're going to need to be able to turn quicker. So I set my 4 to 5 to 1, my 6 to 7 to 1.15, same for 8 to 9, and then my high zoom, which is like 10 times plus, to 1.25. That's going to allow me to use snipers at a distance and just snap to those enemies a little bit quicker than I would if I was using something like a red dot. Moving into the movement setting, we have another one of those AI assist settings, and I just can't recommend any of these because again, it's one of those things where it just does it for you, and it's going to mess with the way that you're playing whenever you're running into gunfights. Now, slide and dive behavior is something that's completely up to you, but I personally believe that you should either have slide only, dive only, or hybrid. If you have tap to slide or tap to dive, it's going to add a bit of a delay in your settings. So I set mine to slide because I've never really found myself needing to use the dolphin dive behavior. I just stick away from that. And in this game with Omni movement, you actually end up playing a lot better if you just have slide only. A new setting that just popped up, which is auto door peek, is basically if you are to ADS at a door, normally normally you have to press your square button or whatever that is on Xbox to open the door just a little bit and be very quiet. This actually just does it for you, which could give away your position when you don't want it. So just keep that new setting turned off. Moving into these advanced movement settings, the next thing I would recommend going ahead and setting up is your grounded mantle. This is going to get you moving around the map very, very fast. If you set on grounded mantle, that means when you're running, it's not going to have to jump and then grab. It's just going to grab and mantle you straight over whenever you hit the jump button the first time. It's not a double tap. It's just one tap. Sprint Restore is basically going to make it where you don't have to hit your L3 over and over and over to continue sprinting. After you do something, it's just going to start that sprint back up for you. Slide maintain sprint means when you stop a slide cancel and come out of it, you're going to keep sprinting. So that's going to help you move faster around the map. And tactical sprint behavior, a lot of people are going to have that set to single tap sprint. Sprint and run are two very different things. If you set it to single tap sprint, that means when you're already sprinting, then it'll tactical sprint. But if you set it to single tap run, when you're just regular pushing forward on your analog stick and you tap that button, it'll get you to attack sprint faster. So I recommend setting it to run. That way you're immediately in that tack sprint without having to press it the first time and then the second time. And on the last page of our controller settings here, I'm going to go ahead and tell you to change quick C4 detonation to 1 by 1. That's going to allow you to throw these C4s and then double tap your square button to get those exploded much faster rather than having a delay because it's thinking about whether or not you actually want to blow up the C4. And under combat advanced settings, I would recommend changing your interact reload behavior, which is normally on tap to reload or tap to interact. Set it to prioritize interact. That way, if you're trying to pick up something off a ground, say a gun or something like that, you're going to be able to tap to pick up that item, or in the middle of that, you just press and hold to reload. It'll also make it a lot easier if you just memorize to always hold to reload, especially in game modes like Warzone. It'll make it much faster whenever you're going into those gunfights to just hold to reload every single time. Now, the graphics settings on this game aren't going to make the biggest difference. As much as I would love for them to do that, they won't. And the reason why is because betas are usually poorly optimized. So while normally I'd be like, yeah, you can get like 400 frames on this game, most likely it's not going to happen because until the full game comes out, you're going to be stuck with whatever poorly optimized hunk of junk we get for a beta. With that said, I do think there's settings that are very important, and the first of which is your screen refresh rate. So if you're on PC, it's going to be easier to get to this. If you're on PlayStation or Xbox, you have to do it in your PlayStation settings, but make sure that your refresh rate is as high as it'll physically go for your system. For me, you can see that it's set to 160, which is the refresh rate of my 4K monitor. And again, make sure that display resolution is also the max that it'll go. Otherwise, you're going to get some weird pixelation on your screen, and it's going to make everything look very bad. Now, while brightness in Call of Duty does wash out the game just a bit, this game is dark, and I mean dark. So I would recommend changing your brightness at least to 57, maybe even up a little bit higher to like 60. That way you can see enemies moving around the map, because otherwise they're basically just shadows in this game. Another thing that actually has a big effect on the way that the game looks is your display gamma. Now, this normally sets to either sRGB, CPU RGB, or something like that. I would recommend if you were playing on a television that you set it to HD TV, because that's going to make your game a lot brighter so that you can see your enemies, and it's not going to kill the color like brightness is. However, if you are on a PC, it's completely up to you whether or not you want to keep CPU RGB or if you want to take HD TV. Personally, I feel like the game right now looks a lot better with HD TV, and so I'm going to keep it at that. I've said it before and I'll say it again, eco mode preset should never be set to efficiency or low consumption. Make sure to set that puppy to custom, otherwise you will lose frames all the time. And one setting a lot of people are going to think that they should have because it makes their game look a little bit better is VSync. Unless you're a content creator and you really want your gameplay to look absolutely beautiful, you should not have this setting set to anything at all. And on that same note, your custom frame rate limit, I currently have set to unlimited, but what I would recommend is remember that refresh rate we talked about a minute ago? Go ahead and set that frame rate limit about 5 to 10 ahead of your actual refresh rate. That way your system isn't wasting resources on making frames you're not going to use. Moving into quality, the big thing you need to understand, and I mean this over everything else, is your upscaling and sharpening. If your game looks like trash 9 times out of 10, it's because you have this set to anything other than fidelity CAS. If you turned everything to low and just turned fidelity CAS on and set to 100%, your game will look 10 times better. I'm telling you, this is the most important setting. Please, for the love of God, make sure you set fidelity CAS to 100%. It makes everything sharper and it makes your game run better. A setting that I personally keep off is variable rate shading. However, I do recommend that you actually turn it to on. Things on the edge of your screen aren't going to look as great, but you're not going to be looking there because that's in your peripherals. So it's just a very smart way of lowering the amount of resources put towards certain things and allowing you to get more frames in the game. On the other hand, NVIDIA DLSS is not it. Do not, under any circumstances, turn this on. There's going to be people that tell you, oh, you get twice as many frames. Sure, they're not real frames. Frame generation means that your GPU is making up the frames. That means that 50% of your frames are going to be mildly inaccurate. Just keep it off. And as for the final thing on the quality page I really want to cover, that is local texture streaming quality and on-demand texture streaming. Now, they just did an update to where you no longer can turn this off. I don't know why they did that. It's super weird. Basically, this is supposed to make your game look a little bit prettier, and it's really not supposed to affect the way that you play. Realistically, it does have an effect on your frame rate. If I were you, I would set this to minimal and set your local texture streaming quality to low. There is a roundabout way to turn it off fully, but that's in your game files, and a lot of people have issues with messing with that. So I'm gonna leave that to professionals at FPS Hub, and they'll take care of that for you. Moving into the view section, we have motion reduction. I would personally recommend setting that to off because if you turn it to on, it basically messes up everything. It changes your FOV, it changes your center dot, it changes your motion blur, it changes your first and second person camera. It's not worth it. Unless you have some serious like vertigo problems, turn that completely off. Move down to FOV. Make sure that this is set to 120. At the very least, I would set it to 110. That way you can see everything going on around you. ADS field of view should be set to affected by default, but make sure it's not set to independent. And two things that are hugely important to turn off if you want to make sure that you can see things going on around you is world motion blur and weapon motion blur. Those two things will make it where you can't see people moving past you. You will miss targets, you will miss eliminations, and you will lose gunfights over and over and over. On the same topic of motion reduction, you can see that the first person camera movement is set to 100. Go ahead and set that to 50. That's going to help you be able to see while you're trying to take on engagements. Moving into audio, one big thing is making sure that your master game volume is always set to 100%. A lot of people turn this down instead of turning down their TV. That actually changes the way that audio works in the game because it'll make certain sounds quieter when other ones are louder. So you'll basically hear things like precision airstrikes really loud, but never hear a footstep. So if you keep this as 100 and instead turn down the volume in your own headset or on your TV or whatever it is you're playing on, then it'll be much better for your audio fidelity. I personally always turn off gameplay music and cinematic music. Same thing with master volume. We're going to do that with effects volume and then dialogue volume. That way you can hear things like UAVs and stuff like that getting called in. I personally set to 40. That way it's not overbearing, but I can still hear it. And on this same topic, personally, I believe that cinema is the best audio mix. However, if you have a specific set of headphones that doesn't work with this, you can always try headphones, you can always try PC speaker, you can always try home theater. They're all going to work a little bit different depending on your headphones, but stay clear of bass boost because it actually just makes the game sound worse and it doesn't really give you any more footstep audio. Moving into the next page, this one's more for your teammates, but I would go ahead and set your voice chat volume to 50% because otherwise it can be pretty overbearing. And then go ahead and set your own microphone level pretty goddamn low. You can set this probably to 10% because most people's mics are incredibly loud whenever you plug it in for Call of Duty. You can probably set it for 10 and be just fine, and your teammates will thank you a million times over the next time they play with you. Moving into our final set of settings, we have the interface settings. The first of which we're going to talk about is gameplay tips and tutorials. That's entirely up to you. However, if you're tired of them popping up on your screen whenever you don't actually need them, go ahead and turn these two things off. You can have them on, you can reset them, you can turn them on. It is not worth it if you already know what you're doing or you've ever played a Call of Duty before. Moving into the gameplay HUD, we actually have something new called HUD presets. And if you open this up, you can see that the HUD is going to dynamically change depending on which one of these you actually use. So if you need something that's a little bit bigger, you can use magnified. If you like things in the center of your screen, like a mobile player, you can use central command. However, the standard is always the standard. So I would recommend keeping that. That way you feel like you're playing old Call of Duty games and nothing changes. It feels like you're at home. One thing I still see all over the place is minimap shapes being set to circle or round. And that is a no-go. You get a ton more information if you set your minimap shape to square. Something else that's a little bit new is your compass type. Now, if you go ahead and set this to minimap, it's going to pop up above your actual minimap. But if you want to use it like it has been for the past like 4 years, I would recommend setting this to horizontal. That way it pops up in the center of your screen at the top and is easier to look up to and call out for your teammates. And last but not least, your player name should never be set to full name. You don't need to know your teammates teammate's clan tag, you just need to know what their name is so you can call it out. Setting it to icon is going to get you confused on when you're looking at your enemies, so I wouldn't recommend that either. But on your screen right now, I have every single setting that I have in the game showing up so that you can choose what you want to set up and what you don't want to set up. I would recommend just copying everything that I have, but if this is going too fast for you, I do recommend skipping backwards and setting your video to 25% speed and then going back through and copying everything, or just pausing whenever you need to. Regardless, let's go ahead and hop into a game and let me show you how good these settings really are and how great you can be with them. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we're diving into our first match here. I have yet to play a game of Black Ops 6. So this is going to be my first game on. We're going to have to see how good we play here. Getting absolutely slammed off rip. I'm not going to lie to you. We got a guy on the left that's taking a head glitch. I'm going to hold the nade, cook it, toss it. Positionally, I'm not in a great spot right here. If a guy comes up behind me, trying to get a little heady on this guy right here. Very interesting map design. Obviously, I'm sitting right in the middle here, but everybody just has like crazy headies. And I'm sure as soon as I push out, I'm going to get just destroyed by some guy sitting there. I keep forgetting that I can't play it up because I'm playing multiplayer. Take two. You do just kind of slide out there. Help me out, teammate.
Securing zone A. Controlling Bravo.
I have 10 bullets, which isn't exactly great.
We're losing Charlie.
Okay, we're losing C, which means they're behind me right here. You don't really want to be sliding all the time. Just want to like run. We're going to ADS. Oh, dude spawned behind me. That's incredible. I was trying to position myself pretty well, but it just did not work out. He's getting shot from somewhere. I just didn't see the bullets.
Taking A.
The big thing is, oh my God. Why was he stimming? Should be another guy right there. I don't know how I feel about the like turn sideways thing. Should be a guy on my left. I can see that right there. Get rid of him. We're going to back up. Hit a little reload here. Is that a Betty? What is that? Oh my God, get that man out of there. Oh, it looks like everybody's like stimming up, which is super interesting. So that works as a UAV. B's contested. This guy's got it. Let's play low and around. Get that free. Free. Play a little heady right here. Oh my God, what? What did I just do? What are you doing? Get out of there.
We're losing Alpha. Locking down Charlie.
Not a great position to be in right here. Wait, they're taking C. That means we've probably flipped right here.
Losing B.
It feels like a lot of this, because of Omni movement, is just going to be like ADSing. Like at spawns and stuff like that. Which I guess is what multiplayer is, but god dang, I don't know, man. Hold that. Oh, sniper. Interesting. Oh, frag got somebody. Whoa! Sniper. I knew it. I knew it the second. That was on me. We got another UAV up, or a little personal UAV. Not too bad. Game looks beautiful. Plays great. A lot of people are going to tell you that the game feels clunky. And you're probably going to think the game feels clunky. But the big thing is we gotta relearn movement again, because this is a whole new movement system. Oh, see, that's what I'm saying. A whole new movement system. That guy slid out sideways. You can literally just slide sideways, which is super interesting. I've yet to really get into the Omni movement. Obviously, it's going to take a little bit of time here. Let's bounce that backwards. Got a guy right there. Get rid of him. Got another guy back there. They did nerf aim assist, which is a fun little thing for everybody to be testing. When you're in super close range, your aim assist is nerfed. So I don't know if that was on purpose or on accident, but it is something that's happened. So be on the lookout for that. If you're playing close range, you could get absolutely schmelted.
Losing Bravo.
Get rid of that guy. We got 47 bullets left. I need to check my left. That guy's dead, but there's another guy down there, I'm sure. I don't even know what that's for. Toss that. If anything, I just feel like you move a little bit slower across the board. Like, it's not about anything more than just literally your character overall moves slower. There's a guy right there, 100p. Get rid of that. Pop that. This guy's right down here. Teammate, what are you doing? He's literally just oh. Just literally a guy. Got him. Oh. I can't fight. I don't have a gun. I need to drop. I'm dead. Whoa! Whoa! Oh my god, dude. You gotta be kidding me. I was popping.
Securing B.
Yeah, what's up, dog? Get out of there, bro. You do end up, you can't really slide cancel. It's just a slide, a full slide, and you go through it.
Taking B.
There's a guy right there. I'm gonna hold an nade, cook it. He's not there. Okay, my teammate's there. Wait, does it not? Oh my god, how do I leave?
Securing Alpha.
I can't leave, brother.
Down Charlie.
Insane plays. Dude, that guy's jumping backwards. Insane. Yeah, I think the HUD's a little different. Not really sure how I feel about that just yet. That was a nice little headshot. Guns feel fine though. I mean, guns feel fine. They sound pretty good. I'm gonna turn up my volume just a hair. How are we doing?
Losing B.
Hold on, let's toss this in here.
Charlie.
I should hit. Oh, that guy spawned on the right. It is what it is. You can't really do much right there. I need to get more on the objectives, but my teammates are really not pushing either. Shoot. Hold on, I got an idea. Toss that. Maybe that hits. Destroyed an assault pack. Not exactly what I was trying to do. Oh, Hunter, what are you doing, bud?
We've lost Alpha. Zone Charlie.
Oh, we got that. Okay. Jump. I'm getting shot in that. Dude, how is that man sitting up top? Are you kidding me right now? I don't know what all these things are. Is that enemies? It looks like enemies. Oh my god. Get around. Toss the stun. Get rid of that guy. There should be another guy on my left or something. Somebody was on B, but they're keeping it. We're good for now.
Securing Zone A.
I like securing A.
Drop one. Objective capture underway.
I'm hit. I need to get out. Come on.
Lockdown. Hold the enemy back.
Dude. The Omni movement's just a little weird. I mean, it does feel awkward.
Losing Alpha.
I don't know how I feel about respawning and having dudes shown on my map immediately. That's also a little weird. I wonder how that works. Oh my god. What is that guy doing, brother? Teammate! Hey, there we go, baby. There we go, Snake. You're in that thing. I'm proud of you. All right, we got to lock down A. Let's just... Okay, we got that. Easy. My teammate's got a helicopter in the sky. Yeah, it's just like the sliding sideways is a little weird for me right now. I'm dead. You do not have aim assist up close. It doesn't exist, which is super weird. I don't know if that's a perk now or what, but that is 100% part of the reason I'm getting slammed right now. Toss that nade. Another guy on the back right, I'm pretty sure. Let's take the high ground here. Super slow compared to Warzone right now. Just feels a lot slower. There's got to be a guy coming out right here, right? Can you take that high ground? Oh, you can. Rich, come on, buddy. Thank you. Teammate, you good back there?
Taking A.
Got a guy right there. Wait, did my teammate kill him? Kill him?
Losing B. They're taking C. Location secured. Hold your positions.
Stupid. Woo, baby! Your boy's in it. Give me, no, teammate, shoot. Shoot! Oh my God, I just needed a heal. Obviously, I don't have my classes set up yet, but I mean, it feels okay for not having my guns or anything. It's basically my first impressions of the game so far. I keep finding myself in this position over and over and over. Don't know how I feel about it, but it's working, so I'm gonna stick with it. It's shooting at somebody over there. Nobody's there. Need to just push to the back. Oh, I got high alerted by the guy inside. I should have not egoed right there. We got a guy coming up on the left. Teammate gets slammed. Did he get slammed? Did y'all trade? And I think that's Jeed right there, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, if you like the video, I look forward to making more content for y'all on this game. So new loadout videos coming pretty much every day. So stick around. Thank you. Love you. Bye. Did I get top 3? God, I suck so bad at multiplayer.